Fantastic night. We're going to talk about love, and we're going to talk about getting unstuck in life tonight. If you've been in that place of being stuck, McLovin, what's happening? We're going to talk about getting out of that place because you're not meant to live there. Mia Horse, it's good to see you. So good to see everybody. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you being here. Hope that you had a fantastic day. Hope that you were productive. Hope that you've been thinking about love and taking action. And that's actually what we're going to talk about tonight. Um, because when our lives get to this place of being stuck, right? If you've ever been in that place where you just feel like you are stuck, what do you do? Right? What do you do when you're in that place? I've been sharing my story and how I just, have gone through, you go through those different phases of life. And sometimes you feel like you're really riding high. Other times you have no clue. And I can remember there was a time in my life where I didn't feel like I knew what I was supposed to do. If you've ever been in that kind of place, I was like, I would try things. I've tried a lot of things, right? I'm willing to try things to open up new opportunities. I went to college on an accounting scholarship, right? And so let me just give you a little backstory. So when I was growing up, I was in high school. I was in a business academy, and so I got into my junior year, my senior year of school. I was doing really well in this business program, and so of course the idea was, all right, you're going to go to school and be in business. Well, I really didn't want to be in business, but those that were around me thought, business might be a good idea. And then I got this accounting scholarship, so it really looked like a good idea. But it wasn't my idea. But I was kind of just stuck in this situation because they had given me money. Meanwhile, that's not where my heart was. My heart was in education. I actually wanted to be an elementary school teacher. I wanted to teach the little tots, second and third grade. I wanted to teach the little people and be a presence because, there weren't many male school teachers, and I enjoy kids and I enjoy teaching. I was like, I want to be a school teacher. And so with this in my heart and with this in my mind, wanting to be a school teacher, I decided that I was going to go to college and still pursue an accounting degree because they gave me money. So I go to school on an accounting scholarship, and I'm going through all the prerequisites of accounting, and that first year, and then I'm going my second year, I'm in accounting one, and then by my junior year, I think that's where we got into accounting two. And I remember being in my accounting two class, and I had been taking some English classes, and we were doing some writing and things in these English classes. And one of our writings was to create a business plan. And so in my business plan, I had determined that I wanted to own a chain of 24-hour daycares. And so I had sat and I wrote this plan to have a chain of 24-hour daycares. There's this girl that I knew who was in the military, and I had been talking to her, and we had talked about how overnight, people were working overnight and they needed childcare. And I said, all right. So I started writing this idea for this 24-hour daycare. Wanted to have a chain of them. And I'm sitting in my accounting two class, and the teacher is going around the class and asking everyone what they would desire to do with their accounting degree. And she's going to this person, and they want to work at a Fortune 500 company. And this person wants to go work in the private sector to do accounting. And somebody else wants to start their own accounting firm and do taxes and this kind of stuff. And so she finally gets around to me and she says, Brian, so what do you want to do after you get out of school? And I said, I want to open a chain of 24-hour daycares. And I'll never forget, her response was, so why are you here? And in the moment that she asked me why I was there, I became completely aware of how powerful that question was. And I said, I don't know. And when I left that class that day, I went, to the office, the registrar's office, to start the process of changing my major. I didn't want to be an accountant. Really, I pretty much knew if I had to be in somebody's office, it would probably kill me. Like, it would drive me nuts to be in someone's office. So I didn't want to be in someone's office, but I felt stuck. But you know how you get unstuck? Take action. right? You take action. And why would you take action? And what does this have to do with love? This is supposed to be love month. Well, let me just tell you, action is evidence of love. When you decide that you love yourself enough that you don't really want to be stuck anymore, you'll take action. That is the cure for feeling stuck in life, feeling stuck in your relationship, feeling stuck at your job. When you start to value what you are really saying on the inside enough that you take action, it is proof that you love yourself. See, action says, I'm going to do something. I'm going to create movement. I'm not going to stay here and be stagnant. Love is not a stagnant part of life. And so where we find something to be stagnant, that is where love has gone to die. Why? Because love produces life, and life produces action. Life produces activity. Life produces growth. Life produces transformation. That's the evidence of what love does. Think about this great verse. You may have heard it. In the beginning, God created. Let's just stop right there. Now you might think, like, what? What does that have to do with anything? Well, again, I always give this disclaimer. You don't have to believe what I believe. Let's just talk about the Bible for educational purposes. In the Bible, it says that God is love. Simple enough. Let's do some simple math. If God equals love, God equals love, then in the beginning, love created. It's the same. God is love. In the beginning, God created. Love created. Love took action to produce something. It is the nature of love to take action and to produce. It is the nature of love to look at a situation and make something of it, to say, all right, I'm not going to sit here simply and do nothing, because that's not what love does. If you find that you're in a relationship with someone, or even your relationship with yourself, and you find that you're stuck, I would encourage you to take some moments, have a conversation with yourself about what's really going on. I felt stuck in the accounting program. I didn't want to be there. I was just told that's where the money is. The money's in taking care of other people's money. I didn't want to be there. When on my days off, you know what I would do when I played ball? I played baseball in college. On my days off, when I wasn't practicing and things like that, I would go over to the child care facility. I would go over there a little bit and donate some time. And then there'd be other times when I set up an appointment for myself and my teammates to go to the hospital and go to the children's ward for kids that were in the hospital. And so we went to the hospital to visit those kids, and we went in there and we played ping pong and we read books, and we did those kind of things in the hospital for kids that were stuck in the hospital. Why? Because I had a love for children. I have loved to see those children having someone engage with them, someone think about them, to show up for them. I wanted to be a teacher. I was told there was no money in it. So I chose the path of, I'm going to follow the money, because this is where the money is. I'm going to follow the money, even though my heart wasn't there. So what happens? You end up stuck. And then someone asked the question, if you want to have a chain of 24-hour daycares, why are you here? So I ask you the same question, and hopefully it will be a question that helps you get unstuck. If you want what you say you want, why are you where you are? It's not what you want, right? See, here's the thing. We have come to this idea that love is just this passive part of life that we just get to, oh, okay, love is so easy. Love is so easy, right? Love doesn't ruffle any feathers. Wrong. I just told you God is love. And then I also said in the beginning, God created. Do you know what creativity is? Creativity is a disruptive force to the status quo. Think about it. When someone creates a new product, do you know what they're saying to all the other products that are on the market? That product is saying, step aside, I'm stepping into the game. When you create an idea about having a new romance with somebody, you're like, okay, I see that person over there. I'm gonna build a little relationship with them. You know what you're doing? You are going to present a disruptive force to their singleness. You're about to disrupt singleness. You're in your marriage. Your marriage has been stagnant for so long. The love has left the building. But then one day you read a book. You might go through the 5 love languages and you're all fired up. And you're like, all right, I'm about to introduce some love back into this relationship. We're going to rekindle our marriage and get the spark going. You know what you're doing? You are disrupting with a creative force. You are disrupting the boredom. You are disrupting the disconnection. You know how you disrupt disconnection? By connecting. when you create something, when you're making something, when you're taking action, you become a disruptive force. Love is not passive. Love is disruptive. But like I said last night, love is disruptive in a way that produces only victory. Love, when it disrupts something, produces a win for everyone. It's a win-win-win-win-win situation. Get this. Let's watch how this flows out. If you decide you're going to be that spouse that disrupts the disconnection so that you can have connection with your spouse, guess what's going to change? First of all, you're going to change because now you're going to take on a mindset of serving love. You're now growing. Your partner is going to change because they're now being impacted by the love you're serving. So there's an impact on them that's different. That's a change. That's a win. Your environment around you is going to be different because when love shows up and when love is ruling, when love is reigning, when love is leading, guess what? The atmosphere feels different. There's a whole different presence in an atmosphere and an environment of love. Just think about it. The atmosphere of fear feels completely different than the atmosphere of love. Feels different. The atmosphere feels different. Why? Because love is intentional. Love is not, it doesn't just happen. And of course, a lot of people are like, well, love is an emotion. No, it's not. It's not. Love produces emotions. Okay? There's a difference. If I hit you with a hammer, the hammer is not the emotion. What you feel is the emotion. See, love is the tool. Love is the thing that actually produces. See, if I am being kind, if I am being patient, if I'm not keeping a record of wrongs, if I'm always protecting, I am loving. What you are going to feel is the result of the love. That's the emotion. See, that's the emotional part. And we get it confused. Like love is an emotion. If love is an emotion, then we're headed for trouble. You know why? Because emotions are temporary in nature. And so when people say, well, love is an emotion, well, I'm not going to argue with you because if that's what you desire, then so be it. But you have to understand what you're saying. If you say love is an emotion, then you are also saying that love is temporary in nature. And so happiness is there, then happiness is gone. Perhaps this idea that love is an emotion is the very reason why so many relationships are struggling, so many marriages are ending, because we think that love is an emotion, and then we practice and operate as if love is an emotion and handle it as if it's an emotion. And then when things are never stabilized and we feel like we're on an emotional roller coaster, we know why. Because love, if it's an emotion, can only be temporary. We have to really see this thing called love that we talk about. It gets handled far too casually. And we think, oh, it's okay because I saw a couple cards in the store and I saw it on a few commercials, and it just gets to be really, really casual. But when you start to really strategize and think about why is it that so many situations that are supposed to have love keep ending the way they do? And how come people that say they're in love are operating the way that they're operating? Something is wrong. I think we just need to have a deeper conversation about it and really look at it and say, if this, then that. Just these are like, it's the business of love. If this, then that. If love is an emotion, then it has to be temporary in nature. Do I really want that? So as I'm looking at this situation, as I'm looking at my life, and I was stuck. I was stuck. Why? Because I didn't love what I was doing. It didn't resonate within my heart. It wasn't what I felt like I was called to or drawn to. It wasn't what I even desired. So now I actually have a negative, I've taken a negative position against the very place where I'm standing. I'm inside of an accounting 2 class and I'm headed towards getting an accounting degree, and I didn't like it at all. So here's what I've learned, because I became good at this throughout my life at different points. I became good at managing miserable in the name of love. Notice I said in the name of love. See, sometimes we can put love there and use its name, but it really isn't love. Right? I've heard somebody talk about putting lipstick on a pig. Right? It's still a pig. You just put lipstick on it. So many of us are living in the pig pen. So many of us are rolling around in the mud. So many of us are living away from our promised palace experience because we'd rather roll around in the pig pen. And you might say, like, well, what is a palace experience? Your palace experience is where your integrity shows up. What's integrity? Integrity is when something is unbroken. Do you love yourself enough to live unbroken? Think about the integrity of your skin. So my skin it's in its integrity right now. But if I go outside and I'm running around and I jog and I fall and I skin my arm, then the integrity has been broken. Now think about your life. On the inside of you, you have a thought, you have a dream, you have a desire to have something be a particular kind of way. You desire to go higher. But on the outside of you, you are living in a lower place because you're afraid. You're afraid of making the change. You're afraid of being rejected. You're afraid of what someone's going to say. So you're afraid. On the inside, I dream of this. On the outside, I'm going to stay here and be stuck because I'm afraid. But what does love do? Love drives out fear. And so as we cultivate love on the inside, it begins to move us so that we can drive away the fear that's keeping us, that's on the outside. I'm afraid of the responses, but you know what? Since I'm loving myself, I'm going to move anyway. Since I love this dream, I know I haven't been the best husband, I haven't been the best wife, I haven't been the best parent, but I want to make a change because I want greater love in these relationships. So I'm going to start reaching out to my kids. I'm going to start reaching out to my spouse. And yes, they might reject me, but love says, you know what? I'm going to take the risk anyway. Love's going to drive out the fear, but it doesn't drive it out because you're sitting there thinking about it. Love drives out fear because love provokes action. You want to get unstuck in life? Take action. Take that thing that's in your heart, that thing that's in the abundance of your heart, and start taking action on it. Start taking action. You know why? Because action automatically releases you from being stuck. What do you love? What part of your life are you desiring to rise in love in? Not fall in love. We don't do that. We don't do falling in love, right? Because falling in love means you go from a higher place to a lower place. Rising in love means you go from a lower place to a higher place. Falling in love takes no coordination. It's an uncoordinated effort to fall. Rising in love needs to be a coordinated effort where you actually move against a resisting force in order to elevate to another level. There's a major difference. So this is why I have my crusade against falling in love. I'm like, don't do that. It's actually like an oxymoron because love takes you higher. Falling goes against love. So falling in love actually shouldn't even be possible. No, because love says you're going to go higher. Love elevates. Love accelerates. Love does not bring you down. Grow. Climb. Elevate. So what is it in your life, in your vision, in your thoughts that love is calling you to go higher in? And then ask yourself, if I know love is calling me to go higher in this place, why am I still standing here? That's the question. And if you dare to answer the question and take action, your life is going to change. When I went into that registrar's office and I started telling them, I was like, I don't want to be in accounting. I need to change. I want to be a teacher. I want to teach. And so I want to get into the education program. Now, I played baseball. So what happened was they said, you can do it. You're going to lose a lot of credits and you won't be eligible to play ball anymore. For me, that was a deal breaker. I was like, well, no, I'm mostly in college to play baseball. Like, I want to play baseball. I'm here for that. So I end up leaving the accounting department and going into another aspect of business education. And so I graduated with a degree in business education. Now, here's how this thing works. After I graduated, I still had my plan for the daycare. And I continued to try to move forward, get into some teaching opportunities. I taught 1 year. I taught, fourth grade 1 year. And then I taught gym class 1 year and another year. And the parents were talking to me and they were saying, Mr. Shepherd. And they called me Captain. And they said, Captain, could you teach others to do what you do? One of the parents asked me that, and I said, okay. And I took that vision that I had of the daycare, and I said, okay, after these kids leave this daycare, because it was still in my mind, after these kids leave this daycare, they're going to need a school. And so I started dreaming about everything that I wish school would be. Long story short, this vision that I built out, continued writing. There came a point when someone asked me, do you have a vision for a school? I said, I do. And I gave it to them. They presented it to the bankers and the funders and all that stuff. And then it got built. I became the president of a school. I hired people with educational degrees, with masters that were beyond me in their learning. I hired them. So I hired a staff of people to execute the idea that was in me, because that's what I really love. And to this day, what am I doing? Teaching. See, when you move, when you shift, love is going to guide you to where you need to go. Love is going to steer you. Love is not trying to harm you. Oh, love is going to make you pay a price. You're going to have to make some changes. But the breaking process of love is not to destroy you. It's to build you. So while you are being afraid, let me just tell you, what you are being afraid of is keeping you from what you can be. That's why you got to see the fear and do it anyway. Take some action in love and do it anyway. Because who you are on the other side of fear, you can't even imagine. I used to be afraid, scared to death to be in front of people. I didn't want to be in front of people. I used to walk around with my head down, so with such self-esteem. You become a different person when you get into the environment of love. But it's up to you to choose it. It's up to you to take action. So there you go. What are you going to do? Are you going to stand where you're standing and just stay here? Or are you going to decide that love is worth it? The thing that you've been dreaming about is worth it. And you're going to take some action in love. Love yourself to that next level. I guarantee you it will be a journey worth taking. So, wanted to encourage you with that tonight so that you can take action and become whoever you are meant to be. Become that person. Just go for the journey. Life is too short to sit there and just be stuck. You don't like it anyway, right? You're suffering anyway. At least make your life exciting by going for it. Go for the thing. And it'll be worth it. It will be worth it. So let me share a prayer with you and shut it down. I appreciate you all for being here. Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for the blessings of the opportunity to be with these wonderful people, to share life's moments together, to talk love and life and leadership. Thank you for these opportunities. Thank you for the blessing of the gift that is within them. Thank you for this, just the chance to change our lives around, to be able to grow because love has showed up and told us that there is another level for us to go to. I pray that those that are here and those that are watching on replay, that their lives would be blessed and that they would take action right now, today, in this moment, not let it pass by, but they would take action in love to start to reveal and discover this gift of potential that has just been sitting there waiting for the opportunity, waiting to shine. Thank you for the light that has been deposited within each one of these people. I pray that as they begin to take action, that those things and those circumstances that have been covering up their light would be moved away and that their light would shine even more brilliantly. I thank you and I pray blessings upon them and a great, tremendous rest tonight as they lay their heads to sleep or as they work. I pray that they would just be refreshed and encouraged, that they could take on life, hit it hard, accomplish, fulfill, and serve, that they can discover and deliver the gift that is within them. Thank you for all these things. I ask blessings upon each one as we go. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. So good hanging out. I shared yesterday, and I'll share it every night this week, that next week we're going to have a 5-day challenge called the Single Slipper. And it comes from an event that I would host in person during this time of Valentine's. A lot of the people that were single around me, they would talk about it. I worked with the women that were around. They were like, well, what about single people? What about single people? And I said, all right, I'm gonna put together an event called the Single Slipper. So you can go to thesinglesslipper.com, www.thesinglesslipper.com, and get connected to that. It's going to be a 5-day challenge. It's free. And so you can connect. It's one of those opportunities where you get to be loved on, right? You get to have this experience and we get to look at love through the lens as individuals, right? We oftentimes hear about it in terms of romance and stuff like that. But yeah, go to www.thesinglesslipper.com, get connected, and we can connect that way, because love is not something that is exclusively for those that are, in romantic relationships. And so I've been through the, been on life in each side. I've been, obviously single, I've been married, and now I'm single again. So looking at life, you get to see, I learned some things in that process. And so there's some pitfalls, some things that we want to avoid, some things even as single people that we really need to look at and examine, because guess what? There are a lot of people that are in relationships that feel alone because people don't work out their issues while they are really single. Well, they're not single-mindedly focused on working within. So I believe wholeheartedly in that. And I also believe that each of us should be celebrated, and we need to learn how to do that. And I know that this time of the year can be rough. So I want to do this and want to have this and bring it online, the single slipper experience. So we'll do that next week. Go to www.thesingleslipper.com. Share it with your friends, share it with your enemies if you want to. But let's just get together, have a great time, and have a fantastic week next week. But as for this week, we're going to continue on. Tomorrow is what, Friday? So I'll be back on tomorrow. And then during the weekend, I have some earlier times where I'll go live during the weekend. And we'll just continue talking love, continue building up, continue filling our love tanks. I believe in that. Continue filling up our love tanks. So you all have a fantastic evening. Do this. Reach out to someone tonight. Connect with someone perhaps that you haven't talked to. It's just a little mini challenge. Reach out to someone that you haven't spoken with in a while. And just reach out to them. Let them know that they came to mind. Like, listen, I was on social media and this dude was talking and he challenged me to reach out to someone. Someone's going to come to mind now that I've said it. And when that person comes to mind, someone that you could reach out to just to encourage them, do it. Just do it. Just, hey, I was thinking about you. Wanted to let you know. Have a good night. You can tell them you love them. But just say something kind to them, encourage them, and pour out a little love on somebody else this evening. So, little challenge. Hope that you do it. And have a fantastic night. What's up, Aaron? Good to see you. And all right. Thanks for being here. I'm B.A. Shepherd, 2 P's, A-R-D, reminding you to be a shepherd. The world has enough sheep. Good night. See you.